As night turns into the next day, Zeus summons all the gods to assembly atop Olympus and commands the immortals. Hear me, all you gods and all goddesses too, as I proclaim what the heart inside me urges. Let no lovely goddess, and no god either, try to fight against my strict decree. All submit to it now, so all the more quickly I can bring this violent business to an end. Any god I catch breaking ranks with us, eager to go and help the Trojans or Achaeans, back he comes to Olympus, whipped by the lightning, eternally disgraced. Or I will snatch and hurl him down to the murk of Tartarus, half the world away, the deepest gulf that yawns beneath the ground, there where the iron gates and brazen threshold loom, as far below the house of death as the sky rides over earth. Then he will know how far my power tops all other gods. Come, try me, immortals, so all of you can learn. Hang a great golden cable down from the heavens. Lay hold of it, all you gods, all goddesses too. You can never drag me down from sky to earth. Not Zeus, the highest, mightiest king of kings. Not even if you worked yourselves to death. But whatever I'd set my mind to drag you up in deadly earnest, I'd hoist you all with ease, you in the earth, you in the sea, all together, then loop that golden cable round a horn of Olympus, bind it fast, and leave the whole world dangling in midair. That's how far I tower over the gods, I tower over men. Down below in the mortal realm, the Achaeans and Trojans both arm for battle and clash on the plains before the doomed city of Troy. And now as the armies clashed at one strategic point, they slammed their shields together. Pike scraped pike with the grappling strength of fighters armed in bronze, and their round shields bosses pounded hide to hide, and the thunder of struggle roared and rocked the earth. Screams of men and cries of triumph breaking in one breath. Fighters killed, fighters killing, and the ground streamed blood. The bloody fighting continues, but at high noon Zeus holds out his sacred golden scales. On one side he places the fate of Troy, and on the other the fate of the Achaeans. The scales tip. The fate of the Achaeans hits the earth, and the fate of Troy is lifted into the sky. Zeus unleashes thunder and lightning aimed at the Achaean ranks, and all are seized with terror. All the Achaeans break and run from the fighting, all except old Nestor, whose horse was killed by a shaft sent from the bow of fair-haired Paris. Nestor is about to be killed, but Diomedes sees him in peril and calls out to Odysseus. Where are you running, the royal son of Laertes, cool tactician, turning your back in battle like some coward, cutting and running so? Take care that no one spears you in the back. Hold firm with me, we'll fight this wild maniac off the old man here. But cunning Odysseus fails to hear him and continues his dash to the hollow ships. So Diomedes charges all alone and stops at the chariot of Nestor. Old soldier, these young fighters wear you down. Your strength goes slack and old age dogs your steps. Your driver's worthless, your horses drag their weight. Come, up with you now, climb aboard my chariot, so you can see the breed of Troy's team, their flair for their own terrain as they gallop back and forth, one moment in flight, the next in hot pursuit. I took them both from Aeneas, driving terrors. Your own good team, our aides will handle them. We'll steer these racers straight at the Trojans now, the great breakers of horses. We'll let Hector see if the spear in my hand is mad for bloodshed too. So Sthenelus and loyal Eurymedon take Nestor's team, and Nestor hops into Diomedes' chariot. Nestor grasped the glistening reins in both fists, lashed the team, and they charged straight at Hector. Charging straight at them, as Tydeus hurled a spear and missed his man, but he picked the driver off, Eniopius, son of proud Thebius, gripping the reins. He slashed him beside the nipple, stabbing his chest, and off the car he pitched, his horses bulking, rearing. There on the spot the man's strength and life collapsed, in blinding grief for his driver overpowered Hector, stunned for his friend, but he left him lying there, dead, and swept on, out for another hardy driver. With this, the tide of battle is about to turn to the favor of the Achaeans, but Zeus intervenes and lets loose a terrific bolt which explodes at the hoofs of Diomedes' team, splitting the earth open and ripping the reins from the hands of Nestor, who cries out to Diomedes with a quaking heart. "Quick, Tydeus, swing these stallions round and fly. Can't you see? Victory comes from Zeus, but not for you. He hands the glory to Hector, today at least. Tomorrow's ours if he wants to give us glory. There's not a man alive who can fight the will of Zeus, even a man of iron. Zeus is so much stronger." And Diomedes responds, "Right, old man, all you say is true, but here's the grief that cuts me to the quick. One day this Hector will vaunt among his Trojans, 'Diomedes ran for his ships, I drove him back.' So he'll boast, I know, let the great earth gape and take me down that day." And Nestor shouts back, "Nonsense, steady Tydeus, son, such loose talk. Let Hector call you a coward, scorn your courage. The Trojan and Dardan troops will never believe him, nor will the wives of the lusty Trojan shieldsmen, never. You flung their lords in the dust, laid them low in their prime." With these words, the chariot of Diomedes is swung around, and the two commanders join the routed Achaeans, fleeing back to their ships, pursued by the Trojans and Hector, who has now found a new driver. Hector shouts at Diomedes with mocking words, and Diomedes nearly turns around, tempted to fight Hector. But each time, Zeus lets loose his thunder, turning back the son of Tydeus toward the Achaean camp. Hector then calls to his men, "Trojans, Lycians, Dardan fighters hand to hand, now be men, my friends, call up your battle fury. The father nods his head in assent, I see, at last he grants me glory, triumph. The Argives, bloody death, fools erecting their rampart, flimsy and futile, not worth a second thought. They'll never hold me back in my onslaught now. With a bound my team will leap their trench they dug. But soon as I reach their hollow ships, torches, don't forget now. One of you bring me lethal fire. I'll burn their ships. I'll slaughter all their men. Argive heroes panicked in smoke along their hulls." And so Hector and the Trojans rush on to the Achaean camp. Seeing this at Olympus, Hera cries to Poseidon about the Achaeans who are about to be slaughtered, but the god who shakes the earth does not wish to battle with Zeus, who is more powerful than all the other gods. Now all the Achaeans with their chariots are crammed into their camps enclosed by the wall they have erected, and Hector is coming to slaughter them and burn their ships. Hera, however, impels Agamemnon to rouse his men, and his piercing cry goes throughout the army. "Shame, disgrace, you Argives, you degraded, splendid in battle dress, pure sham, where have the fighting taunts all gone? That time you vaunted you were the finest force on earth, All that empty bluster you let fly at Lemnos, gorging yourselves on longhorn cattle meat, and drunk to the full on brimming bowls of wine, bragging how each man could stand up to 100, no, 200 Trojan fighters in pitched battle. Now our whole army is no match for one, for Hector. He'll gut our ships with blazing fire at any moment. Father Zeus, when did you ever strike a mighty king with such mad blindness, then tear away his glory? Not once, I swear, did I pass some handsome shrine of yours, sailing my oar-swept ship in our final voyage here, but on each I burned the fat and thighs of oxen, longing to raise Troy's sturdy walls to the roots. So, Father, at least fulfill this prayer for me. Let the men escape with their lives, if nothing else. Don't let these Trojans mow us down in droves. Zeus takes pity on the weeping Agamemnon and sends an eagle, a sign which rouses the beleaguered Achaeans. Diomedes leads the charge, followed by Agamemnon himself and Menelaus, great and little Ajax. Teucer, the brother of great Ajax, hides behind his brother's big shield and picks off 8, 9, 10 Trojans, but he cannot hit Hector. Hector then jumps from his chariot and throws a rock at Teucer, which injures and knocks him out. Great Ajax defends his fallen brother, who is carried away from the battle. Zeus then fires up the Trojans again, turning the tide of battle. The Achaeans are pressed up against their deep trench and begin to rout again, being killed in droves. Hera now cries to Athena, foreseeing the slaughter of the Achaeans, saying it is their last chance. So Athena responds, "Let him die 1,000 deaths, Hector's life and his battle frenzy blotted out by the Argives here on Hector's native soil. But the father rages now, that hard black heart, always the old outrage, dashing all my plans. Not a thought for the many times I saved his son Heracles, worked to death by the labors of Eurystheus. How he would whine to the high skies, till Father Zeus would rush me down from the clouds to save his life. If only I'd foreseen all this, I in my cunning, that day Eurystheus sent him down to death, to the Lord who guards the gates, to drag up from the dark world the hound of grisly death. He would never have fled the steep cascading Styx. But Zeus hates me now. He fulfills the plans of Thetis, who cupped his chin in her hand and kissed his knees, begging Zeus to exalt Achilles, scourge of cities. But the day will come when Father, well I know, calls me his darling gray-eyed girl again. So now you harness the racing team for us, while I go into the halls of storming Zeus and buckle my gear and arm for combat. Now I'll see if Hector, for all his flashing helmet, leaps for joy when the two of us come blazing forth on the passageways of battle, or one of his Trojans too will glut the dogs and birds with his fat and flesh, brought down in blood against the Argive ships." So Hera gets ready Athena's chariot as Athena dresses for battle. They both get aboard. Hera lashes the team and they fly through the gates of heaven. But Father Zeus sees this and becomes enraged. He commands Iris to run a message to the two goddesses. "Quick on your way now, Iris. Shear the wind. Turn them back. Don't let them engage me here. What an indignity for us to clash in arms. I tell you this, and I will fulfill it too. I'll maim their racers for them, right beneath their yokes. And those two goddesses, I'll hurl them from their chariot, smash their car, and not once in the course of 10 slow wheeling years will they heal the wounds my lightning bolt rips open. So the gray-eyed girl of mine may learn what it means to fight against her father. But with Hera, though, I am not so outraged, so irate. It's always her way to thwart my will, whatever I command." So Iris delivers the message, and Hera calls off the conflict. The chariot is turned around. Athena and Hera return to Olympus with dashed hearts. Among all the gods at Olympus, Zeus mocks them. Why so crushed, Athena, Hera? Not overly tired, I trust, from all your efforts there in glorious battle, slaughtering Trojans, the men you break with all your deathless rage. But I, with my courage, my hands, never conquered. For all their force, not all the gods on Olympus heights could ever turn me back. Ah, but the two of you, long ago the trembling shook your glistening limbs before you could glimpse the horrid works of war. I tell you this, and it would have come to pass, once my lightning had blasted you in your chariot, you could never have returned to Mount Olympus where the immortals make their home. Athena holds her silence, but Hera bursts out at Zeus. Dread Majesty, son of Kronos, what are you saying? We already know your power far too well. Who can stand against you? Even so, we pity these Argive spearmen living out their grim fates, dying in blood. Yes, we'll keep clear of the wars you command. We'll simply offer the Argives tactics that may save them, so they won't all fall beneath your blazing wrath. And Zeus replies, Tomorrow at dawn's your chance, my ox-eyed queen. Look down then, if you have the taste for it, Hera, and you will see the towering son of Kronos killing still more hordes, whole armies of Argive soldiers. This powerful Hector will never quit the fighting, not till swift Achilles rises beside the ships. That day they battle against the high sterns, pinned in the fatal straits, and grappling for the body of Patroclus. So runs the doom of Zeus. You in your anger, rage away. I care nothing for that. Not even if you go plunging down to the pit of earth and sea, where Kronos and Iapetus make their beds of pain, where not a ray of the sun can warm their hearts, not a breeze, the depth of Tartarus wall them round. Not if you ventured down as far as the black abyss itself. I care nothing for you, you and your snarling anger. None in the world's a meaner bitch than you. Down on the plains of Troy, Hector pulls his troops back from the ships in the camp of the Achaeans, and he addresses his soldiers. He says that they will keep watch for the night on the plain, and take the Achaean camp the next day.